The sun was just beginning to rise over the vast African savanna, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. Excitement buzzed like the warm breeze as a group of eager tourists gathered at the safari lodge. They chattered enthusiastically, sharing their hopes of spotting majestic wildlife, from elephants lumbering across the plains to graceful giraffes peeking over acacia trees. This was not just any trip. It was a chance to see animals up close in their natural habitat, where they roamed freely, away from the confines of zoos or cages. If you enjoy this video, please like the video and subscribe for more. And tell me where you are watching from today. I always find it awesome to see where all my viewers are watching from. Let's get back to the video. As they climbed into the open-top safari truck, the guide greeted them with a wide smile. He was a seasoned ranger named Sam, known for his deep knowledge of the wildlife and passionate stories about each creature that called the savanna home. With a quick check of his binoculars and a last-minute glance at his map, Sam was ready to embark on this adventure. The truck rolled forward, its wheels crunching lightly on the rocky terrain. The tourists were filled with anticipation, cameras at the ready as they scanned the landscape for movement. They marveled at the golden grasses swaying in the wind and the distant hills that seemed to touch the sky. Every sound, a rustle in the bushes or the distant call of a bird, sent shivers of excitement through them. As they drove deeper into the wilderness, Sam shared captivating tales about the animals they might encounter. He talked about prides of lions lounging under shady trees, nimble cheetahs sprinting across the plains, and herds of wildebeest migrating in search of food and water. Each story ignited the group's imagination, and they leaned in closer, listening intently to every word. Suddenly, a movement caught their eye, a flash of tawny fur against the green foliage. Gasps erupted from the tourists, and everyone turned in unison to catch a glimpse. There it was, a magnificent lion. It stretched lazily before settling back down, its powerful muscles rippling beneath its golden coat. For many, this was a dream come true. A wild lion, exactly what they had dreamed of when planning the safari. Sam parked the truck at a safe distance, ensuring they could observe without disturbing the king of the jungle. Everyone whispered excitedly, trying to capture the moment on camera while soaking in every detail. The lion's strong presence commanded respect. He seemed regal and untouchable in his domain. The tourists were entranced by his beauty and magnificence. As they quietly watched, it became clear that this lion wasn't just lounging around. He was alert and aware of their presence. His eyes scanned the horizon, watching for any sign of danger or disturbance. Sam leaned forward, intrigued by the lion's demeanor. He explained to the group that observing animals like this was crucial to understanding their behavior. The tourists nodded, absorbed in both his words and his wisdom. Time slipped away as they admired nature's wonder. Yet as minutes turned into what felt like an eternity, Sam noticed something unusual. The lion remained fixed in his spot and seemed increasingly agitated as he paced around in front of the truck. This wasn't typical behavior. Most lions would lie still when they felt safe. Now he was acting almost as if he wanted to communicate something important. The excitement that once filled the air began to morph into a sense of uncertainty. Why wouldn't this lion move? What was he trying to tell them? The tourists looked at each other, curiosity mingling with concern. Sam shifted in his seat, tapping his fingers nervously on the steering wheel. He knew they had entered a crucial moment in their safari adventure, a moment filled with questions waiting for answers. As the atmosphere buzzed with tension, little did they know the unexpected lesson that lay ahead. Understanding the true language of the wild meant being patient and observant. It meant recognizing when nature needed their respect. The lion's messages awaited deciphering, and mysteries were about to unfold in this untamed land. The truck rumbled along the dusty dirt road, excitement buzzing in the air like a swarm of bees. Just moments ago, the group was discussing their hopes of encountering the big cats of the savannah, and now they could hardly contain their eagerness. Sam, the guide, kept his eyes peeled for any signs of wildlife, and suddenly, everything changed. "Look!" shouted one of the tourists, pointing excitedly out of the window. All heads turned in unison, eyes wide with anticipation. There, just a short distance from the road, lay a majestic lion, sprawled gracefully on a sun-drenched patch of grass. His golden fur blended seamlessly into the warm hues of the earth, and for a stunning moment, he seemed to be a part of the very landscape itself. The lion was magnificent. His powerful body relaxed, but there was an undeniable aura of strength in his presence. The slight movement of his tail in the gentle breeze and the way he raised his head in response to the sound of the truck drew gasps from the group. Cameras clicked as tourists tried to capture this dreamlike moment forever. They whispered to each other with excitement, their hearts racing at this unexpected sight. Sam expertly maneuvered the truck to a stop at a respectful distance, keeping safety in mind while allowing everyone a good view. "This is what we came for," he said with a grin, his voice filled with pure enthusiasm. "Be quiet and observe. This is a male lion, and he's quite regal." Time felt suspended as they observed him. The lion yawned widely, revealing sharp teeth that gleamed in the sunlight. The tourists chuckled quietly, sharing smiles and glances of awe as they watched him stretch his strong limbs. It was as if they were witnessing a scene from a nature documentary. Only this was real life. As he settled back down into his comfortable position, his eyes closed halfway, giving him an air of relaxation and majesty. For a few moments, they simply enjoyed the tranquility of the scene. The gentle rustle of grass swaying in the wind, and the distant calls of birds adding to the symphony of nature around them. Each sound felt amplified in the stillness as they absorbed every detail. But then, something unexpected happened. The lion suddenly perked up as if sensing something beyond their view. His ears twitched, and slowly, his head lifted higher. The atmosphere shifted from calm to charged with energy, and curiosity ignited among the tourists. What could he be sensing? Was it another animal? Or was he simply observing their presence? Sam recognized the change in the lion's behavior and leaned forward in his seat, curiosity lighting up his eyes. "Stay quiet," he urged gently. "Let's see what he does next." The tourists fell silent, their breaths held in anticipation. And then it happened. A soft growl escaped the lion's throat as he shifted his position slightly. It was low and deep, resonating through the air around them. This was not just any growl, it carried weight and meaning. A wave of unease rippled through the group as they exchanged puzzled glances. What did this king of the jungle want? This moment marked a significant turn in their safari adventure. No longer were they merely observers of nature. They were engaged in an unfolding drama that awaited their attention and understanding. Questions began swirling in each person's mind. Why had this lion chosen to lounge here? What message did he have for them? As Sam continued to watch intently, he knew that this moment was more than just an encounter with a wild animal. It could be a bridge to understanding nature on a deeper level. The thrill of spotting a lion transformed into something richer, a lesson about communication with wildlife that was yet to be unveiled. With anticipation building in their hearts, they settled in to witness whatever came next from this magnificent creature. As the moments stretched on, the lion continued to lounge in the warmth of the sun, seemingly at peace. The tourists were captivated by his royal presence. But just as they began to relax into the wonder of the moment, the unexpected happened. Without warning, the lion stood up, shaking off dust and grass from his powerful body. His movements were graceful, yet commanding, as if he was aware that he needed to make a statement. With a slow and deliberate gait, he approached the safari truck. The group felt a pulse of excitement as they realized he was coming closer. Cameras clicked furiously, but Sam urged everyone to remain still and quiet. They watched in awe as this magnificent creature closed the distance between them and the truck. Then came the moment that sent shockwaves through the vehicle. The lion walked directly in front of their path and turned to face them. He planted his massive paws firmly on the ground, effectively blocking their way. The sudden change from passive observer to an active roadblock left everyone on edge. Confusion rippled through the group. Why was this lion now standing in front of them like a gatekeeper? The tourists exchanged bewildered looks, unsure of what to think or do. Some wondered aloud if they should back up or simply wait it out. Others tried to capture every angle with their cameras, their excitement mixed with apprehension. Sam's heart raced as he assessed the situation. This was not typical behavior for a lion. He had never encountered a lion that chose to block a vehicle before. "Stay calm," Sam instructed softly, hoping his voice would provide comfort amid their mounting anxiety. "We need to observe. This is unusual." His mind raced with thoughts about why this regal creature would choose such an action. Was he trying to establish dominance? Was he protecting something behind him? Or perhaps he felt threatened. The lion stood tall with his head held high, tail flicking occasionally, as if agitated by something invisible. His golden eyes locked onto Sam's with an intensity that made even the seasoned guide take pause. It was clear that something deeper lay beneath this display. He wasn't just blocking them for no reason. As time passed slowly, tension filled the air inside the truck. The tourists could feel the weight of uncertainty pressing down on them. Was it safe to stay? Would they be stuck here indefinitely? Sam took a deep breath as he tried to keep himself focused while reading the lion's energy and considering various possibilities. In that moment of stillness, they all became acutely aware of their surroundings, the warmth of the sun on their skin, the gentle rustle of leaves in the wind, and even distant sounds of wildlife stirring in response to what was happening nearby. At that moment, it became evident that they were not merely observers anymore. They were participants in an unfolding scene governed by nature's rules. The tourists leaned forward with bated breath as they watched intently for any sign from their unexpected roadblocker. What might he want? Would he move? Would it be wise for them to remain stationary? These questions hung heavily in the air as anticipation thickened. Then came another low growl from him, a sound that resonated through their bodies like a distant thunderclap. It echoed around them like an announcement. This lion had something important on his mind. Sam's instincts kicked into gear as he observed closely. Perhaps this was more than just an obstacle. It could be a message waiting for interpretation. The growing unease morphed into curiosity about what lay beyond this momentary blockade, as they sat there watching him intently, a creature both fierce and fascinating. The tourists couldn't help but feel they were at a unique crossroads between humanity and wildness, a chance to learn what it truly meant to share space with such an incredible animal who held its ground so boldly against their safari truck in this vast savanna landscape. The atmosphere inside the safari truck shifted dramatically as the lion settled into his role as an unexpected blockade. Initially, the tourists had been filled with pure excitement, their hearts racing at the chance to see such a majestic creature up close. But now, that thrill began to morph into a swirl of emotions. Some of the tourists whispered nervously, glancing at one another with wide eyes. "What is he doing?" one woman asked, her voice barely above a whisper. She was clutching her camera tightly, unsure whether to take pictures or simply observe. Others shared her concern, their excitement overshadowed by an unsettling sense of uncertainty. What had started as a breathtaking encounter was rapidly becoming nerve-wracking. In contrast, a few members of the group were still caught up in the thrill of the moment. "This is incredible," exclaimed a young man in the back, his face lit up with enthusiasm. He was eager to capture every second and snapped photos from different angles. "We're witnessing something rare." His excitement was infectious, but it clashed with the growing tension around him. Sam, the guide, sensed the mixed feelings swirling within the truck and attempted to maintain a calm demeanor. "Everyone," he said softly, "let's just take a moment to watch and understand what is happening." His words carried authority and experience, but did little to quell the brewing storm of emotions among the tourists. As they sat there watching the lion stand tall and proud in front of them, some couldn't help but wonder why he was blocking their path. Was he asserting dominance? Or perhaps protecting something hidden behind him that they couldn't see? The questions filled their minds like buzzing bees, creating an almost electric atmosphere inside the vehicle. One couple in particular struggled with their emotions. They were on their honeymoon and had dreamt of this trip for years. At first, they felt exhilarated by the sight of the lion, but were now gripped by anxiety. The husband shifted uncomfortably in his seat, while his wife reached for his hand, trying to find reassurance in each other's presence amid uncertainty. "Should we try to back up?" whispered another tourist anxiously, glancing between Sam and the lion outside. A murmur of agreement echoed through some passengers, while others shook their heads vehemently. The idea of retreating felt wrong. It seemed as if they would miss out on something profound if they left. The lion's low growl rumbled through their bodies again, a sound filled with authority that made them all jump slightly. It served as a reminder of who truly ruled this land, and heightened their awareness that they were mere visitors in this wild space. This connection between man and beast created an emotional tug-of-war between fear and awe. As time ticked on slowly, it became clear that this moment held significance beyond just seeing a lion. It was an opportunity for reflection about nature's rules and communication. Some tourists began to calm themselves, breathing deeply as they tried to refocus on appreciating this unique encounter rather than fearing it. "Maybe he's trying to tell us something," suggested an older gentleman thoughtfully. His words hung in the air like a beacon of hope amidst rising anxiety. This idea sparked curiosity among others. Perhaps there was wisdom embedded within this seemingly simple yet powerful creature blocking their way. They leaned forward in their seats once more, exchanging glances tinged with both fear and fascination. This king of the jungle stood as an emblem of wildness, untamed and unyielding. And it dawned on them how important it was to listen and observe rather than react impulsively. In those moments filled with conflicting emotions, they realized that true adventure often lay not just in witnessing nature's beauty, but also in grappling with its mysteries and understanding its messages. As they sat there suspended between excitement and concern, each person began to comprehend that this safari experience was about much more than chasing thrills. It was about connecting deeply with nature's stories unfolding right before their eyes. Sam, the guide, felt a rush of adrenaline as the lion stood resolutely in front of the truck. He had been guiding safaris for over a decade and had encountered many wild animals in his time. But this situation was different. This lion was not just an exhibition of nature's beauty, he was actively engaging with them. Sam's mind raced as he tried to assess what was unfolding before him. From his years of experience, Sam understood that lions typically display certain behaviors depending on their mood and circumstances. Was this lion asserting dominance? Or was he perhaps feeling threatened, using this blockade as a way to protect his territory? The questions flooded Sam's thoughts, each one more pressing than the last. He needed to maintain control, not just of the truck, but also of the anxiety now bubbling among the tourists. "I need to keep everyone calm," he muttered under his breath, quickly formulating a plan. Turning slightly, he faced the group, attempting to project confidence even though uncertainty gnawed at him. He could see faces filled with both excitement and fear. "This is an incredible opportunity," he began, hoping that framing it positively would uplift their spirits. "Let's carefully watch what happens." As the lion continued to stand proud and tall in front of them, Sam noticed how intently everyone in the truck was watching. Not just out of curiosity, but out of genuine concern for what lay ahead. He sensed that this encounter could become a pivotal teaching moment about wildlife and respect for natural behaviors. Sam recalled previous safaris where lions interacted with tourists differently. Some would ignore vehicles altogether, while others would leap into action at the slightest disturbance. This situation felt unique. It hinted at something deeper within this lion's actions. He watched as the lion flicked his tail and growled softly, which made Sam's heart race yet again. He knew that understanding animal behavior required patience and observation. Lions often communicate through body language, subtle movements that reveal their true feelings. And right now, this big cat was sending powerful signals. But what were they trying to convey? Was he just craving space? Or did he have a more significant message tied to whatever prowled nearby? Sam took a deep breath. His role as guide extended beyond merely showing wildlife. It meant interpreting those moments and bridging the gap between humans and nature's complex stories. This wasn't a scripted safari. It was raw reality playing out in front of them. What unfolded next could either deepen their connection with nature or leave them shivering with fear. "Let's observe closely," Sam encouraged again, directing attention back toward the looming figure outside. Each tourist leaned forward in their seats as if drawn by an invisible force, captivated by every movement of the lion. His heart swelled with pride at how engaged they had become. Awareness like this could foster respect for wildlife long after they left these parts. Yet doubts lingered. Was it safe to remain unmoving while blocking this majestic creature? Sam wanted nothing more than to ensure everyone's safety while embracing an experience that would resonate deeply within them all. In those moments of uncertainty, another thought struck him. What if this lion wasn't being hostile, but rather acting out of necessity? Was there something behind him that required protection? Or perhaps he simply wanted more space from humans encroaching on his territory. The notion ignited a spark in Sam's mind. Might they be on the verge of understanding a profound lesson about coexistence? He shifted in his seat, resting his hands on the steering wheel while maintaining focus on both tourists and lion, the embodiment of wildness demanding attention. Time passed slowly yet intensely, as emotions surged among those inside the truck, like waves crashing against rocks. A mix of anticipation tinged with inherent fear, creating an atmosphere thick enough to cut with a knife. As they all sat suspended between excitement and doubt before this magnificent creature standing unwaveringly at their path, Sam realized they weren't merely visitors observing from afar. They were partaking in nature's unfolding narrative, one that encompassed both lessons learned and instincts honored amidst its breathtaking unpredictability. The safari had transformed into so much more than expected. It had evolved into an intimate dialogue with wildlife itself, a moment brief yet everlasting in its impact. As the lion stood resolutely in front of the safari truck, Sam felt a deep need to share his knowledge of lion behavior with the tourists. Understanding animal communication was crucial, especially in this tense moment. He took a breath and began to explain. Lions are highly social animals that live in groups called prides, he started, hoping to connect their current situation with the larger context of lion life. Their interactions are rooted in complex social structures, where they communicate through body language and vocalizations. He glanced at the lion blocking their path, noting its stance and expressions carefully, knowing that each detail mattered. Right now, this lion is displaying what we call assertive behavior, he continued. When lions feel threatened or want to establish dominance over their territory, they may block paths like this one. The tourists leaned in closer, intrigued by how the guide was unraveling the mystery before them. Their earlier fear began to shift into curiosity. Sam explained how lions use various signals to express themselves. For instance, a flick of the tail can indicate agitation or annoyance, while a relaxed posture often shows contentment. The growl they had heard earlier was another important form of communication. That deep growl you heard isn't just noise. It's a way for the lion to convey authority and warn others to stay away, he clarified. The group watched closely as the lion shifted slightly on his paws, tail flicking gently behind him. Sam seized this moment to elaborate on what that might mean. He's sizing us up, assessing whether we pose any threat or if we're simply curious observers. He could feel a mix of understanding and respect growing among the tourists as they recognized that they were witnessing something intricate and meaningful. So, why would a lion block our path? Sam asked rhetorically, inviting them into deeper contemplation. It could be several reasons. Perhaps he feels protective over something nearby, like cubs hidden in tall grass, or he simply wants us to give him space. He paused for effect, letting them absorb the significance of his words. The tourists exchanged glances, filled with newfound appreciation for the complexities of wildlife behavior. This was not just a spectacle. It was an interaction steeped in instinct and survival, an opportunity to learn about living harmoniously with nature rather than dominating it. As Sam watched their reactions, he felt encouraged by their engagement. Understanding these behaviors allows us to empathize with animals, he said warmly. It helps us see them as sentient beings navigating their world just like we do. He could see some nodding along, recognizing that every movement from the lion told a story. Then he turned back toward the lion outside again, emphasizing how vital it was for them all to remain calm and patient during this encounter. If we listen closely and observe without disturbing him, he proposed, we might learn more than we ever expected. With his heart racing yet steady under pressure, Sam focused on maintaining control of both himself and the vehicle, while guiding their thoughts towards appreciation rather than fear. Each second spent watching this majestic creature revealed layers of meaning hidden within its actions, the very essence of wildlife unfolding before them. He hoped that by sharing insights about lion behavior, he'd not only help ease their anxiety, but also inspire respect for these powerful animals and an understanding of their natural instincts. Every person inside that truck had embarked on this safari looking for adventure. Now they were experiencing something far more profound, a connection with nature's raw beauty. As time passed slowly under that relentless sun, Sam felt proud seeing how his words resonated with everyone present. They weren't merely passive observers anymore. They were part of an ongoing dialogue between human curiosity and animal instinct. A reminder that every encounter with wildlife holds lessons waiting to be learned. In those moments suspended between excitement and uncertainty, they all began to grasp that true adventure lies not just in thrilling sights, but also in appreciating nature's intricate dynamics. A dance between predator and prey, where understanding reigns supreme amid breathtaking encounters like this one taking place right before their eyes. As the lion continued to stand before the truck, Sam's attention sharpened on the subtle signals the majestic creature was sending. It was clear that every movement, no matter how slight, held meaning. Observing closely, he began to point out these details to the tourists, who leaned in with growing curiosity. "Look at how he is standing," Sam began, his voice steady but filled with excitement. "The way his body is angled slightly toward us suggests he is alert and assessing the situation. Lions often use their posture to communicate their mood." The tourists watched intently, noting how the lion's powerful frame loomed large against the backdrop of golden grass. Just then, the lion let out a deep growl that resonated through the air, a sound rich with authority and intention. "That growl you hear isn't just for show," Sam explained. "It serves as a warning to us and any other animals nearby. He's letting us know that he's not comfortable with our presence right now." A few tourists shivered slightly at the sound, but their fear transformed into respect for this powerful animal, asserting itself in its territory. Sam pointed out another behavior that caught his eye: the lion's pawing at the ground. With deliberate movements, he scraped his massive paw against the earth, leaving marks in the dust. "What do you think that means?" Sam prompted, encouraging participation from the group. One young girl in the front raised her hand hesitantly and said, "Is he trying to dig?" "That's an insightful thought," Sam responded with enthusiasm. "While lions may sometimes dig for various reasons, here it seems more like a display of confidence or anxiety. By pawing at the ground, he might be trying to assert himself further or even release some nervous energy." He watched as understanding dawned on her face. The tourists were eager to connect these behaviors with what they had learned about lions earlier. They observed as the lion shifted its weight from one paw to another and occasionally glanced over its shoulder into the tall grass behind him. "See how he keeps looking behind him?" Sam noted. "This could mean he feels there might be something, or someone, he needs to protect." A hushed fascination filled the truck as they processed this information together. The atmosphere shifted from fear to an intense desire to decode what this magnificent creature was communicating through his actions. They were no longer mere spectators. They were involved in a real-time lesson on animal behavior. The lion stood still again, tail flicking slowly back and forth, another signal for them to consider. That flick of his tail can indicate irritation or even restlessness, Sam elaborated. In lions, it often means they're agitated or unsure of their surroundings. The group collectively held their breath as they watched every detail unfold before them. Sam felt a sense of satisfaction as he saw how engaged everyone had become in understanding these signals from nature's grand playbook. They were starting to appreciate that reading animal behavior required patience and careful observation, skills that would enrich their safari experiences far beyond this encounter alone. At that moment, another growl erupted from deep within the lion's throat, a sound more pronounced than before, that rumbled ominously through the air, like thunder. Sam immediately recognized its intensity. It was time for them all to remain calm while respecting this powerful creature's space. "Let's remember," he reminded them gently, "that we are guests in his world." His heart raced again, not from fear but from exhilaration at sharing such an extraordinary experience with these tourists who had come seeking adventure but were now discovering much deeper meanings intertwined with nature itself. As silence enveloped them once more, and tension hung thickly in the air between anticipation and awe, every person in that truck found themselves united by profound respect for this wild king standing before them. A vivid reminder of nature's raw beauty and unpredictability. Through observing and understanding these specific signals, the powerful growls, assertive stance, cautious movements, Sam guided them on a journey where knowledge merged seamlessly with reality. It was an unforgettable experience, ensuring they would always remember this encounter as not just a sighting, but an invaluable education about wildlife communication deeply rooted within each moment spent alongside this incredible beast blocking their path. As Sam continued to observe the lion's behavior, a dawning realization began to take shape in his mind. It was not just the raw power of the animal or its imposing presence that captivated him. There was something deeper at play. The lion's actions were not merely a display of authority. They hinted at a longing for space and perhaps even safety. The tourists had grown silent, their eyes fixed on the king of the jungle, and Sam felt an electric charge in the air as tension hung thick. He watched intently as the lion shifted its weight from one paw to another, glancing nervously toward the tall grasses behind him. This subtle movement screamed a message that Sam was finally beginning to decipher. "He isn't just blocking our way," he murmured softly, more to himself than anyone else. "He's trying to tell us something." In an instant, memories of his past experiences flooded back. He recalled times when animals displayed similar behaviors, when their instincts compelled them to protect their territory or seek safety for their young. The lion wasn't exerting dominance for no reason. He might be guarding something precious hidden in the grass, or simply asserting his right to his space. Sam's heart raced as he connected these dots. This is all about respect, he thought, feeling a sense of urgency building within him. He needed to convey this understanding to the tourists before them. They had been focusing on their own excitement and fears without fully grasping the lion's perspective. "Everyone," he called out gently, ensuring that his voice remained calm yet firm. "I believe this lion is trying to communicate with us in a way we must respect." The group turned their attention back to him. Curiosity piqued once again. "It seems like he feels threatened by our presence," Sam continued, gesturing toward the lion standing boldly before them, yet shifting his gaze towards the tall grass behind him. "It's possible there are cubs or something else nearby that he's trying to protect." This idea hit home for everyone. Suddenly, the lion morphed from a fearsome predator into a caring parent. Weighted by this new perspective, the tourists exchanged glances, filled with empathy rather than just awe or apprehension. Sam could see them processing this information. They were no longer passive observers, but participants in a meaningful moment that blurred the lines between human emotion and animal instinct. As another rumble of growling echoed through the air, Sam decided it was time for action. "We need to give him space," he said firmly but kindly. "Let's back up slowly and quietly so we can show our respect." He hoped this would alleviate some of the tension, both for themselves and for the lion. His heart pounded as he slowly shifted into reverse, watching closely for any signs from the mighty creature outside. The tourists held their breath collectively as they moved backward inch by inch, while keeping their eyes glued on the lion's every movement. Just then, the lion relaxed slightly. His posture eased from assertive to more neutral as he realized they were respecting his plea for space. Sam took this as a good sign and encouraged everyone to remain still while they observed what unfolded next. The lion finally turned away from them, revealing glimpses of movement in the tall grass behind him. A sight that confirmed Sam's thoughts about potential cubs or other hidden treasures needing protection. Relief washed over him as he saw how this powerful creature let go of some of its tension now that it felt less threatened. In that pivotal moment, everything clicked into place. Understanding animal behavior wasn't just about observing actions. It was about interpreting feelings and respecting boundaries, lessons deeply rooted in nature itself. As they sat together in quiet reflection outside amidst breathtaking wildlife unfolding before them, each person felt enriched by this experience, one that transcended mere observation and became rooted in empathy and respect for living beings navigating their world alongside humanity. Sam realized then that true coexistence required recognizing these moments where wild creatures expressed their needs. A reminder that they were guests in this magnificent kingdom of nature, where every heartbeat echoed stories waiting patiently beneath sunlit skies. Understanding that the lion's behavior signaled a need for space and safety, Sam knew it was time to take action. The atmosphere inside the truck shifted from tense anticipation to a quiet determination as he prepared to back up the vehicle slowly. His heart raced, not from fear, but from the weight of responsibility he felt for both the tourists and the magnificent creature before them. "Everyone, it's important that we respect the lion's space," Sam announced, his voice steady. "I'm going to back the truck up slowly. By doing this, we'll create distance and allow him to feel more comfortable." There was a collective nod of agreement among the tourists. They understood the significance of this moment. With careful precision, Sam placed the truck in reverse, watching the lion intently as he did so. Every movement mattered. He could see the lion's powerful frame relaxing slightly as he began to back away, a good sign that their actions were being received well. The tourists held their breath, their eyes fixed on the lion, anticipating how he might react. As they moved backward, Sam kept his movements slow and deliberate, ensuring that the noise of the truck didn't startle the lion further. The last thing he wanted was for the animal to feel threatened again. He glanced at the rearview mirror, checking behind him for any obstacles. But all his focus was on the majestic creature outside. The lion watched them closely, his golden eyes revealing a mix of curiosity and caution. Sam noticed that as they created more distance, the tension in the lion's posture began to ease. Rather than standing assertively with its body angled towards them, the lion shifted slightly, turning its head away as if acknowledging their respectful retreat. "This is good," Sam thought with relief. He knew that lions are incredibly perceptive and can sense when their environment feels safer. By backing away slowly and steadily, they were allowing this magnificent animal to reclaim its comfort zone. Just like us, they need their personal space. The tourists began to relax as well, feeling hopeful and engaged in the unfolding drama of nature. As they continued to back up, Sam encouraged them to observe the lion's movements closely. "Notice how he's starting to look back toward the grass," he pointed out. "This could be a sign that he feels less threatened and is ready to check on whatever or whoever he might be protecting." With each inch they reversed, the atmosphere shifted from one of anxiety to a palpable sense of awe as they witnessed this incredible animal exhibiting behaviors that spoke volumes about its instincts and needs. They recognized that their actions were helping foster a sense of safety for the lion, transforming what could have been a standoff into a moment of mutual respect. Once they had backed up a safe distance, enough to give the lion space while still allowing for observation, Sam finally brought the truck to a halt. He took a deep breath, feeling a wave of satisfaction wash over him as he glanced at his passengers. "We did it," he said softly, his eyes twinkling with excitement. "By stepping back, we've allowed him room to feel secure." The tourists erupted into quiet whispers filled with wonder, exchanging looks of understanding and appreciation for what had just transpired. They were no longer merely observers on this safari. They had become active participants in a unique exchange between humans and wildlife. Sam turned his attention back to the lion, who had now settled into a more relaxed stance. The growling had ceased, and the powerful creature appeared to be at ease as it looked over its shoulder toward the tall grass once more. It was then that they all caught a glimpse of movement. A flash of golden fur revealing small cubs playing just behind their protective parent. "Look!" someone gasped from the back of the truck, excitement bubbling over once again. The sight filled everyone with joy. They had not only respected the lion's boundaries, but had also been rewarded with an intimate view of its family. In that moment, Sam realized that taking action was not just about moving backward. It was about creating harmony and understanding within nature's delicate balance. They had shown respect for wildlife, rather than trying to conquer it. What a profound lesson for each person in that truck. As they sat there in silence, watching the lion interact with its cubs, Sam felt proud knowing that they were witnessing something truly special. A snapshot of life in the wild that would leave an everlasting impression on every heart present in that safari adventure. As the truck eased backward, creating a respectful distance between the vehicle and the magnificent lion, the atmosphere shifted remarkably. The lion stood still at first, watching the retreating truck with cautious eyes. But as space opened up, something beautiful began to unfold. Sam and the tourists held their breaths, observing the lion's reactions with eager anticipation. The tension that had filled the air moments ago started to dissipate like morning mist under the sun. The lion's posture transformed from an assertive stance to one of relief as he gently shifted his weight. Sam noted how the muscles in the lion's powerful frame relaxed visibly, a clear sign that he felt increasingly at ease. It was as if a palpable wave of relief washed over him. And seeing this change stirred a sense of joy among the tourists. "Look!" one tourist exclaimed softly, pointing toward the lion as it took a few deliberate steps to the side. There was gracefulness in his movements, a reminder of the strength and power he possessed, but chose to display differently now. With each step away from the truck, the lion demonstrated a willingness to allow them into his world, signaling that he acknowledged their efforts to respect his space. As the lion shifted aside, he turned his broad head toward the tall grass behind him, highlighting an important aspect of his instincts: protection. The group felt a connection with nature forming in this moment. Here was a proud creature not just displaying strength, but also seeking safety for its cubs lurking out of sight. It was their curiosity and respect that opened this small window into the lion's life. Sam watched with a sense of fulfillment as he explained to the group what they were witnessing. "He's moving aside to show us he feels safe again," he said gently, This is a significant moment. It illustrates how we can coexist in respect and understanding. The tourists nodded, feeling connected to both Sam's wisdom and the lion's powerful presence. The lion glanced back at them once more, his golden eyes softened with an understanding that seemed almost profound. In that moment, it felt as if they were sharing an unspoken agreement. The tourists respected his space, and he was allowing them the honor of witnessing his tranquil side. The connection with nature grew stronger as they observed this thoughtful exchange between man and beast unfold. With renewed determination, Sam encouraged everyone to take in this rare sighting. "Look how quietly he moves," he instructed softly. This is a prime example of how animals adapt to their surroundings and situations. Each tourist felt drawn into this living classroom, where lessons were taught not through words, but through actions. Then came the most touching part of all. As if on cue, the lion glanced once more toward the grass, and out from behind a clump of green emerged two tiny cubs. They tumbled playfully into view, their small legs unsteady but filled with vigor. Sam couldn't suppress a smile at their naive energy. They were utterly unaware of the earlier tension that had hung over them all. "Look at them!" gasped one woman from the back, her voice filled with delight as she lifted her camera eagerly. The tourists watched in pure awe as the cubs frolicked around their parent, pushing against each other playfully, while occasionally looking up for reassurance from their mighty father. In that moment, it became clear to everyone present that what had begun as a moment of potential conflict had transformed into an enchanting exchange between species. A dance of trust forged through respect for each other's needs. The lion's earlier actions were now understood not as barriers, but as invitations into its world. As laughter and whispers filled the truck once more, Sam felt overwhelming gratitude swell within him. They were witnesses to something truly special, an insight into family life among these incredible creatures that few would ever get to see up close. With newfound appreciation for wildlife's complexities and Mother Nature's delicate balance, every person in the truck realized they had shared an unforgettable experience. The kind that would linger in their hearts long after leaving this breathtaking savanna behind. What had been a moment filled with uncertainty ultimately became a highlight of their journey, an emblem of tolerance and coexistence rooted deeply within their newfound connection with nature. As the lion began to move gracefully back into the brush, a wave of relief swept over the tourists in the truck. It was as if the collective tension that had gripped them for so long melted away, replaced by sheer excitement and awe at the unfolding spectacle. The powerful creature, once a formidable obstacle, was now embodying the elegance and strength that made lions so revered in the wild. "Look how effortlessly he moves," one of the tourists exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with delight. She leaned forward eagerly, trying to capture every moment with her camera. The lion's strong legs carried him with fluid grace, each step deliberate yet relaxed as he navigated through the tall grasses, blending seamlessly with his surroundings. Sam watched with satisfaction as the lion slowly disappeared from view, feeling an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the experience that had just unfolded. The earlier moments of uncertainty were now overshadowed by a profound understanding of nature's delicate balance. This is what it means to respect wildlife, he thought, marveling at how a simple act of backing away had allowed this magnificent animal to reclaim its territory. The lion paused momentarily, glancing back over his shoulder one last time before continuing into the brush. It was a fleeting moment, but it held a world of meaning for Sam and the tourists. In that gaze lay a silent acknowledgement, a recognition that they were not intruders, but rather visitors who respected his space. The tourists felt as if they shared an unspoken bond with this wild creature, a reminder that they were part of something larger than themselves. As the group exhaled collectively, laughter and chatter erupted within the truck. Relief mingled with excitement as they processed what they had just witnessed. "I can't believe we saw cubs," one man said, shaking his head in disbelief. "That was incredible." Others chimed in agreements, sharing their thoughts and reactions with animated enthusiasm. Sam smiled at their joy and took a moment to reflect on how this experience would resonate with each of them long after they left the savannah. They had learned not just about lions, but about patience, respect, and coexistence in a world where humans and wildlife share space. "Let's take a moment to appreciate what we've seen," Sam suggested gently, allowing everyone to bask in their shared experience. The truck remained stationary for a while longer as they soaked in the beauty surrounding them. The golden grasses waving gently in the wind and the distant sounds of other wildlife awakening as day continued its course. One tourist pointed out a cluster of birds taking flight nearby, soaring into the clear blue sky above. Nature was alive all around them, a reminder that while they had been focused on one powerful lion, countless stories unfolded everywhere in this untamed landscape. "I feel so grateful to have seen that," said another woman softly, looking out across the savannah as she reflected on their encounter. Her words resonated deeply with everyone. They understood that witnessing such raw beauty came with responsibility, to honor these animals and their habitats. As time passed slowly beneath the warm African sun, Sam couldn't help but feel pride swell within him. This safari had become more than an adventure. It was an opportunity for enlightenment, one that had transformed fear into appreciation and tension into tranquility. The group began to discuss what they'd learned about lion behavior and family life, recalling how each detail from their encounter painted a broader picture of wildlife dynamics. They were eager to share their new insights while continuing their journey through the stunning landscape. Eventually, Sam turned to drive them further along the winding path of the savannah, where more wildlife awaited discovery. With spirits lifted and hearts full of cherished memories, everyone felt connected not only to each other, but also to nature itself. A connection forged through respect and understanding during an unforgettable encounter with a majestic lion. As they traveled onward under expansive skies filled with endless possibilities, it became evident that this moment would forever linger in their minds, a testament to harmony between humans and nature among these timeless landscapes where stories continue to unfold beneath sunlit vistas and moonlit nights. As the safari truck rolled away, leaving the majestic lion and his playful cubs behind, the tourists sat in reflective silence, their hearts still racing from the breathtaking encounter. The air was filled with an electric sense of appreciation for what they had just witnessed, a potent reminder of the natural world's beauty and complexity. This transformative experience would likely be etched into their memories forever. Sam took a moment to gather his thoughts before addressing the group. What we just experienced is a powerful lesson not just in wildlife observation, but in understanding and respecting animals in their habitats. He began. His calm voice echoed softly in the truck, drawing every eye toward him. In nature, every action has a purpose, and observing those actions can teach us about coexistence. The tourists nodded thoughtfully, their earlier excitement now tempered with contemplation. Sam continued, "Lions are not merely symbols of strength. They are also caretakers of their young and protectors of their territory. Today, we witnessed a lion displaying behavior intended to communicate his need for space and safety, not just for himself, but for his cubs. He watched as they absorbed his words, realizing that this experience offered more than just a fleeting glimpse into the life of a wild animal. It had provided them with crucial insights about patience, observation, and knowledge of animal behaviors. Tools that would serve them well in understanding wildlife more deeply. Respecting wildlife comes with responsibility, Sam emphasized. When we approach nature with curiosity and awareness, we can learn how to navigate these encounters without imposing ourselves on these incredible creatures. He gestured broadly to the sprawling savanna around them, which was alive with sounds, the distant calls of birds, the rustle of leaves as other animals moved unseen through the grass. The group took a collective deep breath, grounding themselves in this newfound perspective. They had entered this journey seeking thrills and excitement, but were leaving armed with valuable lessons about empathy and respect. One woman spoke up, her voice filled with emotion. "I had no idea how much I could learn from just watching how that lion interacted with us. It's clear how important it is to give them space." Others chimed in with their reflections too, recounting how they felt seeing both fear and tenderness in the lion's behavior gave them insight into animal instincts that were difficult to grasp without real experience. The conversation blossomed as they discussed how patience could lead to rewarding moments in nature, how sometimes stepping back could yield wonders previously hidden from view. Sam felt immense pride swell within him as he listened to his passengers reflect on what they had learned together. Their voices intertwined like threads weaving a tapestry of shared experience, each story adding depth to their encounter that afternoon. "We also need to remember," Sam reminded them gently, "that our actions have consequences." He stressed the importance of always ensuring that they participate responsibly when visiting natural areas, staying within designated paths, minimizing noise, and respecting wildlife everywhere they go. It was about more than just one safari. It was about nurturing an enduring connection to the natural world. As they continued their journey across the vast landscape where rolling hills met endless skies brightened by golden sunlight, laughter filled the air again, this time a sound resonating from a place of understanding rather than anxiety. Each tourist now saw themselves as part of a larger ecosystem, and with each pulse of energy flowing through nature around them came newfound respect for all living beings who called it home. In that intimate space, the truck surrounded by open air and wild beauty, they felt a sense of unity blossoming between humanity and nature that transcended language or culture. As curiosity ignited within them once more, each person became eager to observe more wildlife ahead, while carrying their lessons close to heart. That true adventure lies not only in thrilling encounters, but also in appreciating every intricate detail revealed through patient observation and profound respect for life's wild tapestry. What began as mere sightseeing had evolved into something deeper, an awakening to coexistence exemplified by their unforgettable encounter with the lion and its cubs. Gentle giants teaching humanity through silent exchanges about love, protection, and survival amidst an intricate world continually unfolding outside every window on this magnificent safari adventure. As the safari truck continued its journey across the vast expanse of the African savanna, a sense of quiet reflection settled among the tourists. The earlier excitement had transformed into a profound appreciation for the wild beauty they had witnessed, and each person in the truck felt an unbreakable bond with both nature and each other. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden hue over the landscape, and as they rolled along the rugged path, many found themselves lost in thought. Memories of the lion blocking their way replayed in their minds. His powerful stance, the gentle grace with which he moved, and the joy of seeing his playful cubs. It was a moment that had shifted from tension to tranquility, and it lingered in the air like a sweet melody. "Did you see how he looked back at us?" one tourist remarked, her voice filled with wonder. "It was like he knew we meant no harm." Others nodded in agreement, recalling how that fleeting gaze had forged a connection between them and the king of the jungle. Sam, seated at the front of the truck, couldn't help but smile as he listened to their animated chatter. He understood that this safari was not just about observing wildlife. It was about experiencing a deeper understanding of coexistence and respect for nature. Each story shared by the tourists reflected their growth over the course of the day. A transformation from mere spectators to active participants in a world filled with life and meaning. As they meandered through fields dotted with acacia trees and herds of grazing animals, Sam took the opportunity to reinforce the lessons learned. "Remember," he said, turning slightly to engage everyone, "every encounter with wildlife teaches us something invaluable about patience and observation. We must always approach nature with curiosity and care." A buzz of agreement rippled through the truck as everyone reflected on Sam's words. They had entered this adventure seeking thrill, but were now leaving with insights that extended far beyond their initial expectations. One man raised his hand excitedly. "I think I'll be looking at wildlife documentaries very differently now. I want to understand what those animals are really going through." "Yes," Sam replied enthusiastically. "Each animal has its own story, its own struggles and triumphs. By taking the time to learn about them, we cultivate empathy and respect, qualities that honor their existence." As they traveled onward, laughter filled the air again, lightening the mood as they shared jokes and stories about past adventures. It was clear that today's experience had bonded them in ways they hadn't anticipated. Each person felt enriched by the encounter, sharing not just an appreciation of wildlife, but also a newfound respect for each other, as a group navigating this incredible journey together. Then, as if on cue, a group of elephants appeared on the horizon. The tourists gasped collectively, eyes wide with delight as they spotted these gentle giants moving gracefully across the landscape. Sam slowed the truck to a stop, allowing everyone time to take in this new spectacle. "Look at how they interact with one another," he pointed out. "There's so much communication happening within their family unit." The tourists observed closely, noting how the elephants would touch one another with their trunks or appear to be listening intently to each other's calls. This sighting sparked even more conversation among the group. They discussed the importance of social bonds among animals and how similar traits could be seen in humans, too. The afternoon light glinted off the elephants' massive bodies as they moved with purpose, embodying strength and gentleness all at once. As they watched these magnificent creatures meander through their habitat, Sam felt a swell of gratitude for moments like these, where understanding flourished amid nature's wonders. Each glance shared among the tourists reflected a commitment to carry these lessons forward into their lives beyond this safari. In time, as daylight began to wane and colors shifted from gold to deep hues of orange and purple across the sky, Sam knew this day would linger in their hearts for years to come. The connections forged in those moments by the lion's grace and strength would remind them of their place in nature. A reminder that respect for wildlife is essential for harmonious coexistence. With spirits high and hearts full of cherished memories, they made their way back toward camp, each tourist carrying a piece of this wild adventure within them. A testament to how understanding can transform experiences into lifelong lessons about empathy, respect, and appreciation for life in all its forms.